There are many things you need to consider when moving abroad. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 of those things. If you are looking to move abroad, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be sharing a lot of information that is going to be useful for your relocation. Let's give it a go, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure there are enough job opportunities for your expertise. How you can find these? Go to Google, find the most popular job portals in the country you are thinking to move to, and start doing your job search. After 1 month, you are going to be able to see how many real job opportunities you can find for you. Another thing you need to consider for your career is how you're going to be able to grow in your career. You might have a lot of job opportunities for your current stage of your career, but another thing that is very important is to think ahead 5 or 10 years to see if that country will give you all those job opportunities that you're gonna be after in your career. Another thing that you can do is go to the same job portals and try to think where would you like to be in 5 or 10 years time, and see if you're gonna be able to find those jobs at that time. When moving to another country, it's very important to understand what are the different stages of work visas. If you're thinking of moving to another country where you would like to stay for good, meaning that you want to stay there for quite like a long time, you need to consider what kind of visas they're gonna give you. They're gonna give you a visa for 1 or 2 years. After having a work visa, it's possible to get a residency visa that allows you to stay forever, and after all, it's possible to get a citizenship of that country once you have been living there for many years. I think that that's very important information to get to know before making a decision if you want to move to another country or not. So, how possible it is to get a work visa, how possible it is to get a residency visa, and finally, if it's possible to get a citizenship. Work and visas is not everything. You also need to have a lifestyle that you are enjoying. So it's very important for you to get to know about the weather, to get to know about what it is that you can do after work or during the weekend. You need to know if you're going to be able to find a social life that you are going to enjoy. That's something that is very important if you want to make sure that you're going to enjoy being in the place. Again, you can do a lot of Googling about this. I don't know if I have just inventing a new term, Googling, I don't know, doesn't matter. But go to YouTube, there are plenty of videos there where people talk about the pros and cons of the different places, the different countries where you want to go. So there's plenty of information in the web to find out if you're gonna enjoy the social life in that country. It's very funny, or maybe you don't think that this is very important, but the food from your home country is very important. So when you're moving to another country, make sure that you're gonna like the food of the place you are going to, or at least if you're gonna be able to find the food from your home country. Funny, but there's a lot of people that I talk to that this is very important for them. Maybe they haven't thought about it to make the decision, but after a few years of living in another country, food is something that is very, very important. Healthcare, this is extremely important. There are many countries where the healthcare is public. This means that the government provides you with a healthcare system. And there are some other places where healthcare is private. This means that you have to pay for an insurance for your health care. So again, depending on where you're going, this is very, very important because if you will have to pay for it in some countries, like for example the United States, it's very expensive, or maybe the companies are not giving you a good healthcare benefit as part of the offer. So this is something you really want to consider, and you want to make sure if you're going to be able to have a good healthcare for you and your family. If you have kids, education is again another very important aspect, mainly if you are thinking to stay in that country for good. If you are just gonna stay for a couple of years, maybe this is not that relevant, and it's very important for you to understand if, again, like as with healthcare, if the education is public or private. If it's public, many times at least in New Zealand, Australia, or the United States, the education depends where you live, where your kids are going to be going to school. In some other countries, I don't know exactly how it works, but definitely something you need to consider if you have kids. How important is for you to go back to your home country to visit family and friends? So if it's very important, you need to understand how easy it's gonna be for you to go back to your home country. From how expensive or cheap are the plane tickets, and also how long it's gonna take you to go back to your home country. How many flights you will have to pick in order to get there. It's one direct flight, or you have to do a couple of connections. Something you want to consider. If the city has an international airport that has a direct flight to your home country, or if it doesn't. If you're planning to stay for good in that country, how expensive or cheap it is to buy a house. Depending on the country, depending on the city, houses are more or less expensive. Also, it's possible for you to get a loan from the bank, holding a work visa, or do you need to be a resident in order to be able to apply for a home bank loan? That's another thing that you need to consider. Finally, overall, you need to understand what's the cost of living. So if you have job opportunities, you need to know how much those jobs are paying, and then considering all the other aspects if you're going to be able to afford a good lifestyle in that country. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I know that there are way more things to talk about in each of these topics, so if you have a specific interest in each of these topics, leave a comment below and we will be talking about those things. I hope you enjoyed. All the best and see you soon.